So
that's really awesome.
just suss it out. Cool. Yeah. Just saw Emma's message. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. So welcome everyone then. That's awesome. We've got you all for ourselves. That's pretty lucky.
Yeah, crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep. And so tonight we're talking about the ripple effect of being you. I wonder who came up with that title. That's like kind of weird. What does that mean? Is that even English?
Weird, yeah, weird. It is. It's totally weird. There was one lady evidently had no idea what the word ripple meant. It's like, what? But, yeah. So, and I'm not surprised she's not on the call. But that's okay. So what does that mean? What is that? It's like, for me, it's an most amazing thing is when I watch people change for themselves, and then everyone around them changes. Gwen, Karen used to have this problem with the kids where they were always sort of grumpy all the time every time she went away. And then she would, one time she went away and she would write, I'm just going to flow energy to them from this class that she was at. And when she came back, the kids were totally different. They didn't do the class, but they did the class. And it was such a change for them. Then that change stayed. It didn't go back to the old ways afterwards. It totally kept consistent with them from then on. Hi, Karen, how are you? So,
good, thank you.
So we've got Austria, we've got Hungary, we've got England now, and Kiwiland. So, woohoo. So, yeah. And so it's like we often fear creating change for ourselves. We fear this because we don't want to hurt other people. But what would happen if we just acknowledge that as we change, we actually free other people to create the changes too? And what if we realize that perhaps they're actually holding back creating changes they want because they're fearing hurting you because of the changes they want in their lives? What if we were actually willing to be free and free everybody else around us so that we can all create change and actually create together? Gute Frage.
So do you mean we have to be selfish, Greg?
No. Well, I guess if you want to put it in this reality's context, it's sort of like selfish. But anybody that tells me I'm a selfish person usually means that I'm just non-compliant and I'm not doing as they want me to do. It's not me choosing. Choosing for myself isn't being selfish. It's actually being selfless. Because what you're doing is you're choosing to create change that's not about self. It's about everything around you as well. It's when you can acknowledge that any change you make changes for everybody else, then you're not just choosing for you. You're choosing for everybody. Well, that's my point of view on it. Really, I mean, I look at all my past relationships, and there'd be this grumpiness just before we separate. But afterwards, I mean, I'm still good friends with all of my exes, and they've all thrived since they got rid of me. They've all, I had two partners who used to complain that they can't lose weight. But they did once I stopped cooking. So, it's like, what are we unwilling to see? What are we unwilling to be to create changes for ourselves and then allow others to be free to do the same? And it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going in a different direction. It just means that we're choosing something, not staying stuck and impoverished in one space. Does it
So
make
does it mean, well, does it mean that when we're choosing, so I can see that working really well when we're choosing from like this space inside,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't always choose from that space of space. A lot of time I choose from a space of small, yeah, drama, whatever.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
you're French.
yes, average, or so when I choose from that, and I choose, like, supposedly for me, am I creating change for people around me?
Absolutely. Always.
So this always.
Yeah. I mean, look at your kids. They see you choose something and then they go, whoa, that didn't work, Mum. Or they go, wow, that was cool, Mum. Can you do it again? And other times they call you an idiot. I mean, it's all of that. They get to see the choices. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. Our kids see us. They see us in ways that we don't even see ourselves. But it's like, and everybody else does too. We just pretend that we're invisible.
So what you mean is whatever we choose for ourselves and that's the only thing we can do is really choose for ourselves, right? Because we can't really make choices for other people.
No.
Then not only does it affect us, but it affects everything around us, right?
Yeah.
That's what you mean.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can't choose for Gabi. I can't choose for Claudia. I can't choose for Renata or Mickey or Harold. But I can choose for me, and the choices that I make can and may affect all of you in some way or another. And it's these things that, because what happens is you're all observers. And sometimes we don't actually have to experience something to know we don't want to choose that for ourselves. And sometimes we're so connected to people that we perceive the energy of that choice and we can go, oh, wow. And we can receive that as well. And I always, it's all of these things that is absolutely crazy. But it's that this is what creates the ripple. An example, just have had some friends in Hungary. The son's called Eula Haviland, and the father's called Eula Haviland. And the young Eula Jr. came home from class. He was translating for me, and he walked in the door, and his father goes, "What happened? You look different. You feel different. What is that?" And Eula Jr. goes, "I just translated for this crazy Kiwi. We're doing this class." And the father goes, "Well, what is it? What happened?" And he said, "Oh, we did this body process thing with." And father says, "Well, show me it. Teach me it. Now, what is it?" He said, "Well, I can't, but I can do it on you." And so Eula Jr. did an alchemy session with his dad. And during the session, the dad's going, oh my God, this is changing something in me. I don't know what it is, but I want this. Okay? So at the end of the session, he says, how can I learn this? And Eula Jr. says to him, you just have to come to class. But yeah, there you go. Hope you enjoyed it. Anyway, the next day, Eula Sr. is at work. He's an energy practitioner. He's a Reiki master. And he's sitting there, and a friend comes in that he'd been working on for a number of years. And this friend looks at Eula Sr. and goes, what's happened? You look different. You've changed. What is that? And Eula Sr. goes, well, my son did this stuff for me. I don't know what it is, but it's really changed me. The friend said, well, can you show me it? Can you teach me it? No. Well, can you be the energy of it and show me what it felt like? So during the session, Eula Sr. asked his body to remember the energy of the alchemy session with Eula Jr. And the friend goes, oh my God, what is that? It's changing me. What is this? What's happening? This is the ripple effect.
Wow.
So from one person translating during class, that ripple effect rippled out 3 people. And,
Wow.
it's still, and that ripple is still going. And this is the sort of thing that I see all the time, just in that one little example. So what else are we changing without saying a word? I watch my children. Dad's an idiot. My kids, they know their father's an idiot. He keeps making crazy choices for himself, and God, he's had too many girlfriends, and blah 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 blah. Walked away from the Mormon church, blah blah. But they've also seen how I've changed, how I've transformed, how my body's changing. They've seen me recover from strokes. They've seen me create recovery that isn't supposed to happen. They're blah, blah, blah. And my kids have, without me saying a word, because they don't even ask about classes, they don't ask what I teach, they don't ask what I talk about. Gabi was blown away when we were there last year because she said, they don't ask any questions. No, and they won't. But the ripple effect is that your oldest kids are already further ahead in their creation and creativity in life than I was at their age. They're, my daughter Megan, she's the oldest girl, she's ripped out her kitchen, pulled it apart, and rebuilt her kitchen to a brand new kitchen. She's doing all this, they're all creating, they're generating, they're amazing. But every now and then, they'll make a comment on a family message, wow, Dad, how does it get any better than that? Or,
Wow.
Dad, what else is possible? Now, so we know they're watching, we know, and this is having a ripple effect. My grandkids are all musicians, they're all joyful, they're all boys, they're just normal kids.
Mm.
And this is even here, the ripple effect of Gabi choosing for her has a ripple effect for her boys. By the way, hi Gabi. So yeah, I always compare myself to just being a stone that's been thrown into the pool, and the ripples travel out. I'll never see where those ripples stop, and I'll probably never see what those ripples affect. But I know that they'll just keep flowing outward. And we're all like that. We're all the pebble thrown by the universe to have a ripple effect on people around us, have that effect where we can help create change. We might not create big changes, but it might just be this change that starts somebody on a path towards where it is they really want to be.
And we all have this effect, right? Even if we don't know it. And we also have a negative effect, the ripple effect. Like when you mentioned my sons. So when kids, they don't listen to you. They just watch you. And so and you have an effect on them just by them watching you, what you do, what you choose. And you can have a really negative effect if you don't choose for yourself. Because then what do you teach your children? Don't choose for yourself. Be the effect of somebody else's reality or choices. And in the beginning, when I learned that I am allowed to choose for myself, I heard comments like, you're cold, you're mean. And then when I said, really? They said, no, we're just clear. And I kept on doing that, like being really clear. This is working for me. This is not working for me. And now I can see in them that they do the same. So they don't get influenced by choices that their friends make. They really choose for themselves. They have their own choices. Doesn't matter what anybody else says. And so I wonder what that means for their friends, right? When they watch them choosing for themselves, whatever it is. And this is the ripple effect. Like just by me making this decision, no, I'm stopping now. Like being the pampering mom and doing everything, even if it doesn't work for me. When I made this choice, it had the effect on my boys to do the same for themselves, and now they can have the effect on others. So, and that's the cool thing about it.
Hmm.
Any thoughts, feelings, emotions, questions, giggles?
Do you find you were talking about the children, and that's one of the things that I always look at what it is that I'm creating around me. And the first thing I'm looking is, okay, if I really have that ripple effect and my choices are rippling around, the first thing I would see is my children, and they are the ones that appear to never listen or resist and like, is this their job to do that? Or,
That's
you know,
right.
yes?
Yeah. But I mean, Gwen, what example do you show them?
What example do I show them? Yeah, that I choose stuff that are against what things around, and that, yes.
How many times do you go into resistance of even yourself?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes
and
not.
A lot less. So what are you teaching the kids by changing that?
To drop the resistance.
And they are, aren't they? I mean, from the first time I met you and your kids to now, they're different people. And so is Gwen. So just you acknowledging the changes within you, and then you start to see the changes that are happening within your kids, and you get to see that that's the ripple effect.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Really, we don't stop and look. But you know, I mean, it's like when I was learning to speak again. I used to get pissed off because I didn't think I was learning fast enough and blah blah blah. And then one day I had a friend come and see me, and he visited me from day one, and he said, "Greg, when you first started trying to talk, I would nod my head. I had no idea what you were saying, but at least now I can understand you." You know, and it's this sort of thing. It's the outside observer that says to us, "Hey, this is the changes. Acknowledge them." And so from then on, when people say, "Wow, you've improved," I celebrate. So there you go. And it's, again, that creates a ripple just by saying, "Wow, I've noticed this." Creates a ripple through the room.
But isn't this a ripple that it's always there? Either you're, it doesn't depend on if you're conscious about it or not.
No, it's always there. We all have an effect on each other.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. We can't not. That's part of the game with the universe. Really, everything has an effect. Energetically, we can choose to have that effect become emotionally instilled as well, or we can choose not to. Some people have a physical effect on us, whether they choose to or not. It's conscious or not. You know, all of those things. It's all good. So this sort of stuff, it's there. Even like, you know, even the trees have an effect on you. It's there, just as the very presence of a tree, the sky above us has an effect on us. What's the ripple effect of 3 or 4 days of grey weather go through the city? It becomes morbid. Everyone becomes sad. That's all of it. this is where again the ripple effect and everything else reminds us that there is no disconnection, there is no separation. I mean, between you and me, Gwen, there's what, 35,000 miles, well, at least 35 hours of flying. A lot longer if we had to swim. And yet, energetically, there is no separation. Because between us, there's only electrons. And so we're totally connected all the time.
So when you're connected with everything around and you're choosing for yourself, you know, Gabby was just talking about choosing without being influenced by the others. So like, how do you actualize that?
How do you actualize? How
Yeah.
do you actualize choosing for you?
Yeah, and then you've got everything around you, so there's all of these energies all of the time that are like you or not you.
It still just comes down to a conscious choice. It's still about using the mind to say, well, this is what I desire. This feels like it could be fun. Okay, so how do I do that? Then, okay, this is what I want. And then you visualize it. You really see it in your mind. You create it in your mind. Then you take it to your body, to your heart space, where you feel it. You literally feel that this desire, this dream, this whatever it is you want to create. And you feel it completed. And you feel how that's going to make you feel to do that. It's like, you know, the feel of the joy of having 10 lovers or whatever you want, you know, it's that but you know, it's the feel that joy in the body, let your body feel that joy. And then what happens is every cell in your body radiates that joy. The universe goes, oh, you want more of that? Okay, cool. And then that's when it starts to actualize. That's when it starts to come in. That's when it starts to...
And there's also you always have the choice, who is stronger, the others or you? So I tend to choose that I'm stronger, that my will is stronger, that my desire is stronger than what anybody else wants. Yeah, the other day I fell and hurt my arm, and I was like, this is okay, nothing happened, I'm good. And when I came home, Greg and one of my sons said, oh my gosh, you've broken your arm again, da da da. And I was like, this is not my reality. Nothing happened. And Greg made me go to the hospital to get x-rayed. And of course, nothing was broken. And in my mind, I saw myself the whole time stepping out of the hospital with no cast. Right? So this is really your choice. Do you want to influence your reality, or do you want your reality influenced by others all the time? Because, yeah, there is a ripple effect all the time. And you get to choose what you want. Right? Okay, I have to leave you guys. Bye.
See you.
See you. Bye.
So there you go. Actually, yeah, it was an interesting day. Yeah. But it's about, again, you know, it's like, what do you want to create as a ripple effect for your life? What is it? And this is when you start to also live a little more consciously. And by consciously, I don't mean Om Shanti, sitting in a cave, Om. I mean consciously as in, okay, if I make that choice, what will they create? If I make this choice, what will they create? For another, you've got a really naughty, bad smirk on your face, young lady. So, yeah, it's this, it's like, this for me is conscious living consciously. It's being willing to see people too when you're walking through a park or walking down the street. You look people in the eye and go, hi. This is all has a ripple effect. I mean, there are people all over the world now that won't forget the crazy Kiwi. They might forget my name, but they'll never forget this crazy Kiwi that come into their cafe or the restaurant and thank them for the meal. You know, why? Because they'll stop and chat to them, ask to talk to the chef. You know, it's this sort of thing, and yeah, the ripple just keeps going outward. It's another way of saying pay it forward. You know, the movie Pay It Forward, where somebody owes somebody a favour, but instead of paying that person back, they do it to other. They do the good deed to other people, and so there's this rip-off thing that goes out through this whole community because of one little boy, and it's the same thing. I mean, for me, one little boy came to Europe. And look at the ripple effect that that's had and still having, you know. And they can't get enough classes created in Hungary or Paris or France. Germany is over me. Austria is over me. They're a bit bored by it. But you know, it's this. And just, what else can we do? What else can we be? What would happen if you go into a shop and doesn't matter what the shop is, and you consciously interact with the people in the shop instead of having your mind on other things? Like, you know, how many times do we go into a shop and we're there, but our mind's already on the next shop that you have to go to, or the next thing you have to do, or already back at home cooking what you have to do, you know? When are we willing to be totally present with the task that we're doing here and now, so that we can then consciously interact with the shopkeepers, consciously interact with the other people in the shop, consciously interact with even the products that the shop's trying to sell you. You know, it's and what happens is that ripple comes both ways, because there are people that create products that talk to you. I'm walking through up in Noy Park, which is a little shopping area just below a castle, and I'm walking along, heading back to the car. Suddenly my body just stopped and spun 90 degrees, and I'm looking at women's clothing and going, I don't want any of this. But I looked up and it's also men's clothing. I thought, oh, okay, what do I want? And my body's wanting to go in the door. Now, if I wasn't willing to stop and listen to that, I'd be in the car already. But I stopped. I went in the door, and the lady says, can I help you? And I said, well, I don't know. But I came out with 2 pair of black trousers, 3 black T-shirts, and a couple of nice sweaters. And it was just perfect, you know. And I've got really nice black trousers now for my classes, instead of wearing my good old grungy Kiwi black jeans. And, you know, it's just, but it's with the body knows. So when we're willing to let that happen too. And that's listening to all the ripple effects that we walk through.
So your body can choose for itself too then, eh?
Yeah. If you're willing, if the mind's willing to get the fuck out of the way. Literally. If you can get your mind out of the way and not go, oh no, I'm just being silly, and go, well, what is that? A whole lot of other possibilities suddenly appear, because they were always there in front of you anyway, but now you're willing to see them. And this is, again, because everybody's creating ripples.
And so the more I'm in the present moment, the more I can listen to my body.
Yeah.
Because the body is always in the present moment and nowhere else.
Nowhere else.
Okay.
Nowhere else. It's only the mind that's trying to hang on to the past and trying to foresee the future. And the mind's really trying to create a future that's the same as what we already have, because that's what it knows. But and I have really good arguments with people about this. That every cell and every molecule of your body is a receiver of information. And it's also sending out that same information. It's projecting it out. So everywhere you go, you're sending and receiving this information all the time, not consciously, but your body's doing this. And that's what you wish to focus on. That creates, for some people, they get pain in their body because somebody else is in pain. Well, if you take your focus away from it, what happens to the pain? It goes away. What happens when you feel sick and it's not yours? Oh, you take your mind off it and it goes away. But it's where you're willing to focus and be present. And then you start to really see these possibilities. You really start to become aware of other things that are available to you all the time. And then you can be walking. I mean, a healer, a tuhunga, a shaman in New Zealand, was visited by two people who had identical symptoms. And after talking to them for a while, he went for a walk in the forest. He comes back and he gives one person a remedy. He said, "This is your remedy." And he gives the other person a different remedy. And they said, wait a minute. We have the same symptoms. Why are you giving us two different remedies? And the tuhonga said to these two people, he said, "Well, your one's emotional, your one's physical. Two different reasons for creating these same symptoms." And the forester said that this one's for you and this one's for you. Take it away, go away. And this is what happens when you start to be that willingness to receive that ripple, the constant consciousness of everything. And it's a big ripple.
Mm.
You know, we did a Zoom the other night as part of a swap for alchemists here in Europe. They all join in on a big Zoom and we do a big swap night. And it's a lot of fun. And one lady was talking and doing a bit of a ambulance thing. And it was like, I just knew and saw and felt that this lady had been abused. I didn't know what abuse. And when I started talking about it, everyone assumed that I was talking about sexual abuse. And it wasn't. But, you know, that's what they assumed. And so there was a few that were going into the wrongness of my choice of words and what I was saying. And then a couple of minutes later, boom. Now, this is what it's really about. It's about the abuse of being manipulated. It's about the abuse of being and being and being. And it became clear. But it's like, it's the same. We get to see it. We get to feel it. If we just stop. And we acknowledge that these ripples are there all the time. And then the universe will actually open your mind up and show you stuff that's just amazing. We're all connected. Right now, there's 7 different screens sending ripples straight at me. Awarenesses, pictures. It's kind of interesting, some of them, but it's okay. I'll keep those pictures to myself. And thank you very much. But it's like, you know, it's this sort of stuff. And it's like, what are you willing to be? What are you willing to do? What are you willing to receive? What are you willing to give to other people? And this when you start choosing for you, you create that ripple. And people start to choose for themselves and see that they can. I mean, the ripple effect of a mother leaving an abusive partner or husband. The ripple effect is it teaches her daughters that they don't have to stay in an abusive relationship. It teaches the boys that they are not acceptable if they are to be abusive. Whereas if mum has stayed, then the boys become just see it as a normal way of life. So they have permission to become abusive husbands and fathers. That's the ripple effect. And it changes with each generation they're on, because the next generation reinforced that's not acceptable. That's not acceptable. Feel it. I mean, this is the trouble in New Zealand. We've had 4 generations of, oh, that's just normal, that's acceptable. But now we've got a generation of kids growing up saying, screw this shit, touch me like that again, I'll kill you. Or I'm out of here, or. But it takes that ripple effect. Somebody actually starts saying, no, unacceptable. And, it's like, I remember when I first moved to Danneberg, I'm a man wearing shorts and sandals and a t-shirt in a town where they're all redneck farmers. And, they'd be doing this to me, almost walking while I walk down the street, like I'm some sort of vampire or demon because I touch bodies. 4 years later, instead of crossing the street to avoid me, they cross in the street to say good day and give me a hug. What changed? Wasn't me. It was the effect of people being made well, people finding wellness, people finding joy, people finding safety, people talking. There was a big ripple effect through the village. That's it. And we don't see it. We actually, unless you're standing, oh yes, you talk to so-and-so, don't. You don't get to see it, but you might see the results of it.
So, Greg, when we do the alchemy class, and we get like a lot more ease with our bodies, I guess in a way it invites to be more present and to have more awareness of that ripple effect. We can just sense it easier.
Yeah. Would that be true, Mickey, Harold, Renata, Claudia? Yeah, they're all nodding. They won't say anything because then the recording won't hear them.
Yes.
And you start to be aware of more, and you start to see other possibilities and choices, especially the ones you've been avoiding. The ones that you don't want to look at because that could be a hard change, and so that creates more angst in your life and discomfort in your life until you actually look at it. I mean, that was the most amazing question that I got asked. It was when Patina said to me, Greg, what is the awareness that you have that you're unwilling to look at? That if you were to look at and acknowledge, would change everything and give you more ease in your life. Up until that point, I was disconnected from my body, disconnected from the world. I didn't want to know. And first, from that moment on, that my life changed big time. And I mean, if you just stop and feel right now, how does your body feel? What is that? What is that space? What is it that's opening up?
It's connection.
It's always been there. But what's happening is the awareness of it's opened up. It's like we fine-tune. We spend most of our life just slightly off the channel, so we don't actually hear anything. And then as we bring our focus, we change the tune. We fine-tune it till we're now crystal clear, and we start to perceive and receive all that information, and we perceive that space that opens up within us. I think it's the point you just want to sit still, not even have a thought. Kind of cool, really.
It's stillness.
Mm.
Peace.
Yep. And there's more. There's even a joy that flows within it. You know, not that big ha 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 joy, but it's just there. It's like, I mean, I've had people describe it as, oh, I feel like I'm home. And that's that space that you feel when you hold a brand new baby in your arms. And that's that space that you were when you were born. So all you're doing is remembering who you are. And that's really what the alchemy class is about. It's about reminding you of who you are. And as you remember who you are, the ripple effect is that you invite other people to remember who they are. And at the moment, I'm looking at 4 alchemists that are all tapped into that space, that are all sharing that space with you, so that you all now feel it. They can't help themselves. Because it becomes such an unconscious thing that you do. As soon as I start talking about that space in a class, I watch everybody go, wow. And they all become that space. And then they say, but what happens when we finish class? We're going to lose this feeling. Harold, is that true? Do you lose the feelings?
Hi, good morning or good
Good
evening.
morning.
I had your alchemy class about a month ago, maybe. And last weekend we had a swap. It's a refresh of the alchemy, and I don't know what it was, but I had 3 days. I was highly motivated. I don't know. I have feelings since months ago. I don't know. I was high motivated. It was funny. It was, I don't know why. And it's a really good effect. You're feeling good, and you give energy to the other persons, and it's easy, like to make a peanut butter bread or something like that. In New Zealand, you eat peanut butter. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's an easy way for you're given your contribution to the other persons. So you, the energy or the feelings, the good feelings are going through you and contribute to the other person, so that they get the feedback is the same. It's the energy coming to you, and you're feeling good. And that swap last weekend, I drove 2 hours to meet other people for the swap, and it was the right choice for me to drive 2 hours back at home, and it was like a flight for 20 minutes or something like that. Going home, and there was foggy, and it was raining, and doesn't matter. I drove 2 hours, and I was happy. And 2 days ago, I met my parents. I met them once or twice a month, and I sit beside my mother, and we were in a restaurant, and normally it was not very warm in there, but she sat beside me, and then she heats up, and then she I don't know, she was feeling good, and then she getting warm, and I asked her what if she had a problem or something. She had my shoulder on the backside, and I said over here, and she said, don't do that, that hurts. And I put my hand on that place, and the other hand on her knees, and just to relax, and I give her a few things what she should do, and we are talking about different things, and then she heats up again, and she said she can't have this energy, it was too much for her, and she said let it go, and it's okay for today. I don't need it anymore. And the ripple effect, maybe something like that I felt before years ago, and it's, you know, this maybe when that you are on a party, or a lot of people in one room, and then one person come into the room, and you're looking on the other side, or the outside the window, and the other people, the whole room gets a little quieter. So the people, they're just feeling there is something, there's something looking at me, or I have the feeling that there is something, and so the people get quiet and turn around and looking what's happened, and so they see, and the door is one person, he's maybe not that tall, or but it must be something like the ripple effect. It's something they're feeling. There's a strong person coming into the room, and what's happened, and they turn around and look at them.
Cool. Yeah, it's all of that. Thank you, Harold. You know, but this is what happens with the classes. This is what happens with life. This is, you know, it's not just classes, but this is what you can expect next weekend.
Yeah, that was wonderful, Harold. Thank you. So on the Zoom here, mostly of you have done the alchemy class already?
Yes, we did a couple of times.
So do you have any stories you want to share with us as well? I would love to hear them.
Mm-hmm.
All secrets.
It was that good, was it? Ooh la la.
Well, I would like to say that when you are in that space and you start to learn more of who you are, and you get to know who you really are and acknowledge it. You make different choices. And I mean, every choice has a ripple effect, but if you start really choosing from that space who you really are, it has different effects that create more.
Mm-hmm.
On the long run, maybe it's not always easy, but it will create more for the future for everybody, not only for you.
Thank you.
You're
Well,
welcome.
For me, it was that before I started with the alchemy classes, that my body didn't give me any kind of information. It was, it's just like a mask outside, and there is no connection with me. And through the classes, I really discovered what's inside. And this connection gets stronger with every class and more intense.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
And I love this what we just did, and I love this connection not only with my body, but the connection with the other energies of the other people, like in the Zoom now. And we had it a couple of times during classes too, just standing in a circle and being aware of all the energies flowing and just feeling this oneness and this and this gets more intense with every time I do it. I loved it.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, but when you are in the round and connected with the others, it feel comfortable. It's like meeting friends. It's it's like people I don't know before. I feel them like brothers or like good friends. I feel this. That's what I had the last weekend. I met 5 people I don't met before, and it was like a party with friends. It was great.
And it's like a completely safe space.
Yeah.
What do you mean by completely safe space?
Nothing to be afraid of, and being held, being complete.
Wow.
No judgment.
Yeah. I mean, you can come up with every stuff that just comes to your mind, and you can speak about it, and you don't get judged from nobody in the room.
Absolutely.
It's like talking to a good friend, and he's talking the bullshit to you, and he said, "Oh, it's bullshit what you're talking about, but tell me more. Tell me what's your problem. Yeah, it's bullshit for me, but tell me."
And while you're talking about that stuff, Greg invites you to just let it go. You don't have to go through that all again. You don't need to consciously understand. You just need to choose it.
What was it you were going to say, Mickey?
For me, it's always a supportive space to let go all my fears and past. And I hated my body for so many years and even want to kill her. And now I'm happy and love my life. So this is what alchemy did for me. Always.
Wow.
The one thing I can say is that I've never seen anybody excluded yet from the group in a class. Always there's total inclusion. Even when the ones that really start to piss people off, at some point they let go something and suddenly there's just that total inclusion and the total joy. And it's been amazing.
We are one.
Wow, that's beautiful. Well, we are looking forward to have you here, that's for sure.
Yep.
I'm
Cool.
jealous.
Cool. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming on to my Austrian friends. And where do you live, Harold? Are you
I'm
Austrian?
living in Germany, Frankfurt.
Oh, you're
Frankfurt.
in Germany. Okay. Well, we'll just include you as a fellow Austrian for now. But thank you.
Greg, what's about the burning woods in New Zealand?
Yeah. How's the fires?
Yeah. What about the? It's over now. It's done.
No,
It's true?
not quite. No, it's not. It's not. It's not yet. Yeah, it's
Still a problem, yeah.
Well, maybe I don't know. Maybe what's right about this that we're not getting. Maybe the forest is saying something.
Yeah. Be interesting to see what it's creating, or what the land's actually asking for.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Cool. So, yeah. Have a wonderful night, Kiwis. Have a wonderful day for the rest of you Europeans, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
too. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.